Okay, so moving on to set photos, if everyone's ready. In our promo for tonight's show, just like last week, we have links to all of the new set pictures if you would like to go there and look at them as we talk about them. If you don't want to see them and be spoiled, you don't have to look. We're not going to force you. So, it's up to you. So the first set of pictures that popped up online were of a billboard at the Pullman train yard, which is where they filmed a lot of the District 12 scenes. And the billboard, first of all, this was posted on Instagram. The picture that we used in our promo tonight was posted on Instagram by Shack Attack. So props to you, Shack Attack. I'm not sure who took the other photos. They were just ones that were tweeted or Instagrammed, and, the fan sites posted them. So it's a Capitol propaganda billboard in District 12, and it says, "Building a Better Tomorrow," and it features 3 coal miners, and you can see some mining machinery or equipment, I think, in the background. What do you guys think about this billboard? Kait, since you just came on, maybe we could hear from you first, since you didn't get to talk in the other discussion.
Well, I really liked that they're adding in the propaganda element. I thought for it to be a billboard almost was a bit weird, because billboards are in a way kind of outdated now. And so to put them in the futuristic setting, I don't know if they'll make it like a really cool digitized thing if they end up including it in the movie, which is very possible. But I thought it was cool looking, and I liked that they, tried again to show the propaganda element of the Capitol and how they try to make everybody get on their side.
Yeah, I agree with you. I wonder if they will do some digitization, that's a crazy word, of it as well, like with the text or the background or something. I guess we'll find out in the film. Adam, what do you think about this billboard?
I'm pretty inspired by it, to be honest with you. Yes, it's a little bit of a simple phrase, but I think, and I know when we were talking about planning this episode, and this could be kind of a good segue into that, I really just feel like it's signifying a lot of different things on many levels, not just what the Capitol's mission is and their propaganda, but also the idea that is Catching Fire going to be better than the Hunger Games? Are they going to take the first film, use all of the best elements of that, and then come up with new things with a higher budget and with a more diversified production team to make tomorrow, the future better? So I think that's really a compelling topic, which we can discuss in full. But in general, I've always liked when Lionsgate has had these propaganda-type themes. With Capital Couture, I thought it was so brilliant the way they had the Lenny Kravitz and his liquid eyeliner or whatever it was, and with Effie Trinket, and when they did the Capital.pn. All of these promotions are wonderful, and I just hope this is giving us a small taste of many, many things that are to come in their PR, agenda. I don't know what the word is to describe it, platform. So, yeah, I think we're getting an early taste of something great.
An early taste of something great.
A better tomorrow. There's a quote that I was actually looking for. Apparently this is a quote said by Charles Kettering, and he said, "My interest is in the future because I'm going to spend the rest of my life there." And I thought, wow, that's a pretty clever quote, actually. And I think that's how I'm feeling about Catching Fire right now. My interest is in this better tomorrow and hoping that it's better, because that's where we're going to be with this film. Not to get all poetic. Who, if anyone else, wants to talk about this or tie this into the bigger sweeping theme? I mean, I guess the question is, let's go to Kait, since she wasn't here for the first part of it. You obviously, over at Victor's Village, you cover every aspect of Hunger Games and the film aspects, not just in terms of news, but also commentary most of the time of the hilarious variety. But you're on top of these things. So based on what you've seen in the early going in Catching Fire, is there reason for us to believe that there is a better tomorrow with the Hunger Games film franchise? And I know that's a sweeping question, but not to put you on the spot.
Okay. No problem. I think
okay,
the media wants us to believe that there isn't, because one thing that a lot of people pointed out to me lately is all the different, gossipy pages that are like, oh, no one gets along on the set of Catching Fire. It's a bad vibe. There's all sorts of problems there. And it's always like some gossipy source, and I'm like, I don't believe you for 2 seconds. But I think that, overall, you bring in new people, but it's still the same core, and it's still going to be, a good experience, a good movie. I like the visuals that I've seen so far, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what comes out of it.
Yeah. No, I think, and I guess we're trying to really make a lot of discussion out of not that much material, but at least, I mean, that is essentially what's happening. We're in a little bit of a lull, but they're giving us something to look at. And I guess we'll probably get more of these billboards and these kinds of pictures now as the weeks go on. And I think, we can just, as hardcore fans, only react positively if they're going to be done as well as this. So it's a small sample size, but it's a good sample size, I guess is what I'm saying. And I like that.
Are there any other comments about the billboard? Feel free.
I just wanted to say that I'm not that worried about the fact that it doesn't seem particularly futuristic or high-tech, because it's in District 12, which does not have really futuristic technology and such, and it is somewhat in the past. If it was in the capital, I would definitely agree that it does not seem futuristic and they would need to add a lot to it. But because it's in District 12, I think it's completely okay to just be a plain billboard.
Yeah,
it's already beyond what they're used to.
Yeah, it fits totally in with the aesthetic of District 12 that was set up in the Hunger Games, I think. So either way, I think if they do add some effects to it, I would be okay with that. And if they just left it like this, in fact, I can just picture the Capitol installing this and purposefully not making it a high-tech thing, because they might think that people would go and strip it of parts and stuff like that or whatever. I don't know. Ellie, what do you think about these? I feel like it's so funny how in-depth we're going into our analysis of these pictures. It's very funny, I think. Ellie, so in the first film, the horses that were pulling the chariots were basically dark brown thoroughbred kind of horses. What do you think about this switch to these Friesian horses?
To be honest, I have not thought about it much. I mean, they look cool. They look intense, I guess. So that's kind of cool.
Just a quick note about Friesians. I grabbed this off of Wikipedia. Although the breed's conformation resembles that of a light draft horse, they are graceful and nimble for their size. During the Middle Ages, it is believed that the ancestors of Friesian horses were in great demand as war horses throughout continental Europe, and through the early Middle Ages and High Middle Ages, their size enabled them to carry a knight in armor. In the late Middle Ages, heavier draft-type animals were needed. Though the breed nearly became extinct on more than one occasion, the modern-day Friesian horse is growing in numbers and popularity. I think they do resemble war horses.
And the fact that they have been used for that sends a good message. Well, not necessarily a good message, but relates to the Hunger Games, especially the theme in this book.
I think so, too. Kelsey, do you have any opinions about these horses?
I didn't pay too much attention to the horses in the first one, though I did look up Friesian horses on Wikipedia, so I found out that little tidbit that you just said, Savanna. So that made me happy. But I also think that they look really majestic. So I like the look of them, and I like that they are resembling war horses, so I think that works really well with the theme, too.
I'm I had mentioned this to Adam a few days ago, but it seems to me like they're injecting a lot more detail into Catching Fire, or that they're just putting more thought into everything. Like, I feel like these horses are such a fantastic choice for the parade. I'm kind of surprised that they went with sort of such a standard-looking horse for the first film. You would think the Capitol would, do more, although maybe that for this they're pulling out all the stops because it is a quarter quell. Adam, you had mentioned to me that the fact that we're seeing, or seem to be seeing, a bit more thought and detail could come from the fact that there is more delegation happening. Do you want to explain that?
Yes. I think what's going on here is, and this may be, and in no way am I dismissing the great work of Gary Ross. I think everybody here knows that I wanted Gary Ross to stay on as director, and I'm still holding out the slightest bit of really impossible hope that he is brought back for the Mockingjay films, because that's, I think, almost certainly not happening. But I guess until it's official, I'll believe that it's possible. But that being said, I think it's not even a downside, but maybe one of the different qualities about the Francis Lawrence era of the Hunger Games trilogy / quartet, if we're going to talk about the two parts, is that more work and specific things can be applied by more minds to each aspect of the production. Gary Ross was so deeply entrenched in each thing that there was only so much that could be allocated to the, this scene or that, the setting there, or the posters there, or the costumes here, or he was involved in every little aspect. And when you have more people doing that, you can just do more. I mean, to give a parallel, it would be like the classic math problem they give you in school, right? You have 10 people to pick up 5 apples an hour, but maybe or you have 5 people who can collect 8 apples an hour. Who's faster? Well, if you have 10 people, you can still kind of do more, even if they're not quite as good as Gary Ross was. If they're so specialized in what they're doing, maybe they'll do a really amazing job on each of their respective portions, and we'll end up getting a really great, well-thought-out, more creative film on the whole, because it implies collective brain power, if that makes sense. Do you see where I'm going with that, Savanna, Kait, Crystal? Am I crazy? Am I just reading hope out of nothing, or do you think delegation could lead to improvement? Ellie, Kait, Kelsey, Natalie, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share about this?
I think that makes a lot of sense, what you said. I think Gary was brilliant, and I loved what he did with the film. But I think, having more minds, especially, I think everyone working on Catching Fire is great at what they do. I think it'll make a good product.
Quick question. Could this be coming from a bigger budget as well? I mean, having obviously the budget for Catching Fire is, we don't know what it is, which is weird because we heard about the Hunger Games budget really early on, but we haven't heard a squeak about the Catching Fire budget, which I find bizarre, unless they're just letting them spend however much they want, with no cap at all, which I don't think is the case. But, having that bigger budget does allow for a lot more detail and care to be put into everything. So maybe that's a factor as well.
Does anybody want to take that? Because I think there's going to be a considerably higher budget this time around. It just seems like there will be.
I think so too. I mean, did you guys read that article that Lionsgate already paid off their loan for Summit?
Yeah.
Mhm.
4 years early, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think they have the means to just. I don't think they should go out of control and turn it into I don't know, what's a notoriously expensive movie?
Waterworld?
They shouldn't go overboard, especially since Waterworld is a good example because that was filmed in Hawaii.